Welcome everybody to another playthrough series that we begin today. And this one is a dandy because this is a game that came out recently about a topic that is not usually gamed. So it's going to be interesting. And before we talk about the game, let's see, who do we have in the house? We have New York Raider fan Peter, Evil Overlord Hansen, Denmark is in the house. We got Bruce Watchler, and Bruce, you're in Springfield, Pennsylvania. Great. Randy Parton, welcome Randy. Ryan Lindsay from Memphis, and Randy is in Alabama, and Michael is in Australia. I think you're like the fourth Australian that's tuned in. I might move the show to Australia one day. And we got Paul from Philly. Great to see you, Paul. Daniel, Salt Lake. Great. Keith is here from North Carolina, and there's royalty here. Tony's Board Life. Welcome, Tony. Thanks for being here also. So today we have a game about a topic that's rarely gamed. So let's set into our Ethiopian background. Here we go. We have the Ethiopian sunset, and this is Black Skin, Black Shirt. This is a game designed by R. Ben Madison about the Second Italo-Ethiopian War. And that's from 1935 to 37, published by White Dog Games. It's a States of Siege mechanic, but it has some very interesting twists that we will see. Now, this game is about a topic that is pretty rare, and I looked first at the map originally when the game was going to come out, and I said, how is this a States of Siege map? And you can see here that it looks like an area map. It is, but it's not. There's 4 tracks for the armies, and you see the Italians, and the Italians in this particular map begin from 4 places. And you'll see there's 4 places now. Here we have the Italians in Eritrea. There's 2 tracks here, and 2 tracks that start from Italian Somaliland. And they all converge on the central space, which is Addis Ababa, which is the Ethiopian capital. Now, this game is not like other games that's been published. The game doesn't end with the capture of Addis Ababa. It enters like a second stage, like guerrilla warfare. So we will be playing turns 1 through 9 today. I don't think we'll get into the fall as Addis Ababa unless I play like awfully. So this is a game that I knew little about the conflict, so I got myself a book. This is The Rape of Ethiopia, 1936. I don't know if you've seen these books. These are the old Ballantine Illustrated History of the Violent Conflict series. This one's from 1971. It's about 120 pages with illustrations, so it gives you a pretty good idea of the conflict. There's, of course, more recent books, but this is the one that I got. Now, there's been other games on the conflict. The most recent one is this one, Lion of Judah. which is a game designed by Javier Romero, a prolific Spanish designer. Now, this game has the Second Italo-Ethiopian War from 35 to 37, but it also has the British invasion of Italy, Italian-occupied Ethiopia in 1941. So you get two games in one box, hex and counter game, not a ton of counters in this one. And we have here the one and only Bend Over is here. So this is a hex and counter game, very manageable. I hope to do a video on this game too, because it doesn't have large stacks. The hexes are large, nice production. Now, the next game on the topic is one that is dear to me because it was the first game I ever made a playthrough of. It was actually my first video on the channel. It's still there, and I included a link to the description of the video in case you want to check it out. This is a video I made in 2013. The game is Lion of Ethiopia, Command Magazine, volume number 4, 1990 hex and counter game designed by Michael Duffield. So you can take a look at that if you want. But today we are going to be playing 9 turns of black skin, black shirt. So let's go over to the map and take a look at the game as it's been set up. Here we have the game already set up. These cards don't come with the game. These are cards that I made and they are available for download at BGG. They have the events. In these games by Ben Madison, they used to put the events inside the rules. I really don't like searching in the rules for events. It's like a disconnect. So I made the cards and I'll be using the cards, showing you the cards. There's a lot of events in this game. So here we have the map. And you can see there's various spaces where the Italians begin. Let's take a look at the northern forces here. And you see the forces at Eritrea. They have the Italian Second Corps here in Adikuala. And this is a corps that has a strength of 3. And that corps starts with an air support. So it's tougher to push that corps back because that -1 that you see here is applied to the die roll if the air unit is adjacent to the army piece. And then we have the other army unit. This is the strongest one here in the game, which is the 1st Italian Corps with a strength of 4 in Coatit, also with air support. So the way this States of Siege game works, I'll show you the tracks. Track A goes this way: Aksum, Gondar, the Blue Nile, Debre Marcos, and into Addis Ababa. And then track B goes Adigrat, Makale, Amba Alagi, Desi, and Addis Ababa. So those are the northern Italian forces. We also have to worry about the southern Italian forces. They're not as strong as the northern ones. We have here in Werder a 3 strength unit. This is the Libyan Corps. And we have also Graziani's Corps there in, this is Baidoa. Notice that these Italian units have an accompanying fascist rule piece there. And you can see here. This is one of the interesting aspects of this game. The fascist rule counter represents like Italian administration. You're going to see the army moving ahead and behind comes Italian administration. That represents like the Italian, the clerks, the people that take care of infrastructure, the rest of the government officials coming in. And what happens is that we cannot attack an Italian army as long as it is with its fascist rule piece. It's called a rocafort. So that's one thing to have in mind here. But this is the 4 Italian armies that are moving. Now, in this game, the Emperor Haile Selassie, the game will force you also to divert attention and resources to the League of Nations. And here we have what is called Space F. It is not a track. That is Geneva, and that is the seat of the League of Nations. And at the beginning, there's an Italian diplomat there. And we will be spending resources trying to get as many diplomats out of there. And we want them to stay at this unused diplomats box. The more there's diplomats there, the more money we can keep. And with the more money, we can do more attacks. You'll see how that works. At the beginning of the game, Ethiopia is recognized as an independent country. And because of that, we can do this thing about sending diplomats back to the unused diplomat box. But it works like an attack. You have to roll higher than the strength of the diplomat. It's not automatic. But once Addis Ababa falls, we have to turn this marker to the Italian East Africa side, and then the guerrilla war starts. But at the beginning of the game, we are recognized in the League of Nations as an independent country. Then you have Mussolini's balcony. There is an event that brings Mussolini to the balcony. And when that happens, there's a greater chance that the Italians will get added resources per turn. And Mussolini leaves the balcony with the start of the Spanish Civil War, which is another event. And we have Dampton from South Carolina, welcome. And here we see the Imperial Tent and the Exile box. If you've played Ben Madison games, the way you win the game is by not losing and surviving until a particular turn. In this game, it's turn 27. And we have the Imperial Tent, and in the Imperial Tent, we have the Emperor. In Amharic, it's called the Negus, and that is Haile Selassie. You can use him to do attacks and everything, but there is a victory condition that is associated to him. But you can lose the game if you're not careful. Now, the way that works, let's talk about the victory conditions. You lose the game if the Italians capture Addis Ababa. Let's say they come in this way and they capture Addis Ababa, and the emperor is in the imperial tent. That means he is in the capital. He's considered to be killed. You lose the game. Now, there's another way you can lose the game is if you lose all your rases. These are the rases. These are like chieftains, dukes. These are the subordinates, like the subordinate generals for Haile Selassie, and they are each assigned to a particular track. You have Ras Imru, who is in A, Mulugeta in B, Nasibu in C, and Desta in D. You can use your Ras to make Ras attacks. The downside is they can get killed. And if you get all your 4 Rases killed, you also lose the game. So that's the second way you can lose the game. The other 2 ways you can lose the game happen after Addis Ababa falls, and then you're in the partisan war. And we won't talk about those yet, because that obviously hasn't applied yet. But you have to survive until turn 27. Here we have the calendar. And as in other Ben Madison games, you have events that happen automatically each turn. For example, in turn 3, we have the British elections. You have more of these turn events. These are fixed to the turn. But you also have a bunch of military and political events that can happen anytime. They're randomized. And if you've played other Ben Madison games, he has this mechanic. You pull a chit from the cup, place it on the calendar, and that chit also has military units that move for the Italians if they receive planes, if diplomats go to Geneva, that sort of situation. So let's start playing so that you get an idea of how the game works. So let's go to the first turn. First turn is early October 1935. And let's go to the first phase. And the first phase obviously has to do with the calendar. And this is the chit draw phase. Here we We draw a chit from the cup, give it a good shake. And these chits also serve to mark the current turn. So here we have the chit. Let's take a photograph of the chit because we will be referring to it. And we place this chit in the first box here for the first turn. You see that chit has 2 airplanes. That means 2 air units are coming in, and there's going to be movement in tracks D and B. The Ethiopian lion in the left-hand corner is purely decorative. It has no effect. And the 25, I think it's a 25 or 23, that is just an inventory number. It has no effect either. So that is the first phase. We go now to the next phase. Deploy units from the current turn box. There's no units in the turn box. You'll see that as we use the Emperor and we use the races to conduct actions and attacks, after they do so, they go into the calendar a number of turns ahead, and they can return as reinforcements. But there's none for this turn. And then the next step in the second phase is to play any red event. There's no red event associated to the first turn. There will be one in turn 3. So now we go to the third phase, Berhanena Selam, light and peace phase. Here, we roll for military and political events. But before we do so, let me show you the player aid that comes with the game. As to that, you have it here. This is Ben Madison has this mechanic in many of his games, and that's one thing that I really like about it. So here, you roll 1 die, you add the turn number, and the result is going to be the military event and the political event. For example, if you roll a 1 plus 1, because on the first turn, the military event will be de bono and tanks will be the political event. We're going to be using an optional rule that we roll a die for military events and another die for political events. And that optional rule is in the rule book, and they recommend it, so we will be doing that. So let's bring in the table here, the military events table. As you can see, the results in green are good for us. They give us a positive die roll modifier in a particular track or space, and the red ones are not good for us. So let's start by rolling 1d6, and we add the turn number, which is 1. So here we go. The roll is a 1 plus 1, 2. So the military event is de bono. And here is de bono. You can see him. Let's take a picture of General de Bono. He was a general that was not very aggressive, and he was later sacked. So he gives us a positive die roll modifier in one of the tracks. Okay, so now we go to the next table, and that is the political event table. We'll do the same thing. We roll a die, and we add 1, which is a turn number. So here we go. Man, another 1. So we get tanks, just 1 event. This one's pretty nasty for us. This is not good. So here we have Italian tanks. Let's take a photograph of this one. There you go. Okay, so now we go to the next step in the phase. Now we resolve military and political events. De bono. We place a +1 in path B. So the game includes this +1 marker as a reminder. It also includes this -1. I glued them together because it's either or. So we place this +1 in track B here. This is going to affect this track. It's the track with the strongest Italian army. And now we resolve the political event and tanks. Okay, if the tank, the carro armato unit is on the counter tray, and that's where it is, and I didn't show you guys the counter tray. In all Ben Madison games, he has a section of player aid, which is the counter tray, which I also like, where you place all the units, and from there you set them up, and you have the remaining units in the counter tray. So it is, the carro armato is in the counter tray. So we pick the carro armato, Here it is. And we roll a die to place it on the map. On a 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be A, B, C, D. On a 5 or 6, it will be B. And, okay. So let's roll the die. Let's see where this tank will go. It's B, 2. So we place it here. And what that tank does, it creates a layer. If we attack and succeed against the army, against that first army, instead of pushing it back, we only remove the tank. And then we still have to attack the army and be successful again. So it creates a layer, making it more difficult to push back. Okay, so those are the two events. Okay, I didn't know that, Peter. The number on the chit, okay, good point. And I know Ben does this in the games also. So the number, if you want to play the game historically, in a historical sequence, you would pull the chits in that order. Thanks for that pointer. Okay, so we resolve those events. Now, the Avanti phase, and we move Italian armies on paths A, B, C, D, depending on the result of the chit. And the chit, we have movements on D and B. Okay, so D is Graziani's corps here in Baidoa. So that corps moves here into Gorrahe. You see that crescent there. Gorrahe is an Islamic area, and there's some events where the Muslims revolt against us, and sometimes against the Italians. Okay, so we have D, and the other one was B. Okay, so let's move B, and B is the scary army. So here we have Graziani's army with the carro armato moving there into Adigrat. Notice that the airplane with the fascist, fascist rule tile, which also doubles as the air base for the plane, is left behind in Kuatit, but it is adjacent to that army, so it provides air support. Okay, so that were the movements on the paths. Now we go to deploy the strongest Italian plane from the skybox. This depends if there were planes on the chits. There were. Actually, there's 2 planes on the chits. So we deploy the 2 planes, and you see them there. We deploy the strongest one first. This one is going to go to track C. And we place it here on the fascist rule tile. And the other plane goes to track D, which is Graziani's track, here in Baidoa. There you go. So it's not good to start with all the Italian army supported by air units. Okay, so the next one is deploy the strongest on flip diplomat to Geneva. Okay, it depends. Again, we have to consult the chit. Is there any briefcase symbol there? Not in this one. So we ignore that. And now we go to the next step on the phase. Here is if the Duce is present on the balcony, then we would check the tiles on the calendar to see if there's some extra moves or extra reinforcements by the Italians, planes or diplomats. We got Mike H. Welcome, Mike. Okay, but Del Duce is an event that hasn't happened yet. So the next phase is the Citet, call to arms phase. Here we roll a die and receive a number of Maria Teresa dollars. And that is the currency that we use. Let me show you here. I didn't show you this. This is the Omnibus Markers track. We start with 1 Maria Teresa dollar. That was like an Austrian currency they were using in Ethiopia for some reason. So we use this to pay for attacks, for partisans, for diplomatic influence, all that. Here we have the Ethiopian Imperial Guard. In this game, like any other States of Siege game, when you roll the die and you tie the strength of the Italian army, it's not enough to push it back. But in cases of ties, you can use a point of Imperial Guard in order to win, apply that +1, and you win the combat. But you only got 2 points of that. And then you have the anti-aircraft Ehrlichon guns, Swiss guns, which you can use against Italian planes that are carrying gas. You saw those planes that start on the board, they are blue, they're not carrying gas. But when the Duce event happens, in addition to Mussolini going to his balcony, the Italians switch their blue planes for these ones, and these carry gas. And then you can use your Ehrlichon points, and in case you win a battle against the airplane, it doesn't return to the sky, it doesn't return to base. It's destroyed and it goes to the skies above box. So, but you get only 3 of these points. There's a way through some event to get more. And then you have this counter, which is, this is the Haile Selassie attack. You get free, not free, additional attacks. You can use these points to get additional attacks. You only have 4 of those points. Now, we will be keeping track of all these matters on our scoreboard there. So you have it there, 1, 2, 3, 4. But now we roll a die to see how many Maria Teresa dollars we receive. And if we roll higher than 5, there's a penalty of -1 income because the roll will be higher than unused diplomats there. So we rolled a 6 -1, 5. So we receive 5 Maria Teresa points. So we got 6 right now. Got one more. Good. There you go. 6. There we go. Now we go to the next phase. This is the meat of the game here. This is where we do our actions. And you have there at the right what you can do. We can do attacks with the armies. You have to pay a Maria Teresa dollar. You can use the Imperial Guard point if you want. There's a Red Cross hospital that comes in with the Red Cross event that you can use to make a free attack on an army supported by a gas Italian plane. So that hasn't happened yet. You can influence diplomats to try to move into the unused box. That cost 1 Maria Teresa dollar. And then you can commit your RAS or the Negus to a mission that can be to attack an army or to subvert fascist rule. That's the way you push the fascist rule marker back. As long as it is in the same space with the army, there's a Rocafort, the army cannot be attacked. So you have to push that fascist rule marker back. That's one way of doing it. Then you can also use your partisans, but you have to buy them first. And Haile Selassie, that's for extra attacks. And finally, the Black Lions offensive. That can happen after Addis Ababa falls. You would use this marker. You get additional resources, but you have to push all Italian armies out of Addis Ababa or you lose the game. So that's another way you lose the game. And Joe Quiñones is in the house. Welcome, Joe. So here, so that is the things you can do in the turn. We have a total of $6 here. Okay. See, we could attack Adigrat. If we attack Adigrat with a normal attack, we have to roll higher than 4. We would get the +1 for the, you call here the marker here, which is the military event, but we get a -1. If we use the RAS for track B, which is Ras Mulugeta, those die roll modifiers don't apply. We're going to use them. Okay, let's use Ras Mulugeta. So we place him here. And I'm going to show you how Ras attacks work. Here with Ras attacks, we roll a die. On a 1 to 6, we lose the battle. And on just a second here. This thing just fell. Okay, on a 1 to 6, we lose the battle. And if it's a 6, the Ras is dead. On a 2 through 5, we win. So we'll take the chance, Ras Mulugeta, and see if we can push that army back. Now, notice that that army has a tank, so that will succeed in just pushing the tank back. So let's go. Let's do the attack. We roll 1d6, and the roll is 6. He's gone. So Mulugeta is dead. He's out. Man, what a way to start the game, huh? With a dead Ras. So there goes that. We've just lost our first Ras there. Okay. So, but that doesn't cost any points there, any Maria Teresa points. So we'll have to try a conventional attack. For that, let's. Yeah, that sucks, right? It's not like that. Let's deduct 1 point of Maria Teresa dollars. We have 5 left. So now we can do a regular attack. We have +1 for the DRM there, the military event, and -1, and it has to be a final 5 or more. So here we go. Roll 1d6. 3, that is a fail. Okay. Let's try to push at least this guy back. I won't use the Ras here because I don't want to lose a second Ras. So we'll do another conventional attack here. We deduct another Maria Teresa dollar. We have 4 left. And here we just have to roll higher than 2. So here we go. Roll 1d6. And a 1. Okay. Boy. Okay, there's how many diplomats? There's 5 diplomats. So the thing is, if we don't push back this Italian army, and it takes 2 victories to do that because of the tank, that fascist rule is going to move into Adigrat. Then we can't attack the Italian army in the next turn. So we have to give it another shot here. Let's spend another dollar here. We have 3 left, and here we go. Oh boy. Oh yeah, but Graziani had air support. You're right. Yeah, would have failed anyway. That's right. Thanks, Bruce. These attacks are bad. Okay. The thing about using the Negus, he does attacks just like the other Ras. He doesn't die on a 6 though. But look what happens when the Negus is used. If you roll a 6, you fail. He doesn't die, but you put him 6 turns ahead. And then he's in the calendar. If the Italians capture Addis Ababa while he's in the calendar, you lose. So let's... I don't want to stay with any money. Let's go against Graziani again. So this luck has to balance itself out. Here we go. Roll 1d6. There's a -1, and that's a loss. There's a -1 because of the plane. So it's still a failure. This is just terrible. Okay, we got 2 Maria Teresa left. And we can't build partisans yet because we have to build them behind enemy lines in an empty space, so that won't happen. We must tell the emperor, run for your life. Yes. Man, this sucks. I don't want to burn all my cash here. So let's see what else. Anything else we want to do here? We don't want to commit any rust. Nope. That's it. So that's the end of our resist phase, which wasn't much of a resist phase. Now comes the turn end phase. Check for the end of the provisional government. That's only when you're in the second stage of the game. That's after Addis falls. Build Arbenyak. We could, for example, build Arbenyak if there was a free space behind Italian lines here. And the Arbenyak cost is the value of the Italian army there. And the partisans are really, they give you some advantages, but we can't build any partisans. So we can bank a number of dollars. We can keep a number of dollars equal up to the number of the unused diplomats. There's 5, we got 2, so there's no problem. We don't lose any money here. Move the Red Cross doesn't apply. That event hasn't happened. Now we advanced fascist rule. So here we see Graziani's corps now has the fascist rule marker advanced with the plane. And it's there in Gorrahe. And we also advance the fascist rule marker here in Coatit. So now it is there in Adigrat. Okay. And next is unflipment. There's no flipped units. And we have to take this out. And that's the end of the first turn completely. I played from turns 1 to 10 twice. This is the worst that I've had. So this could be a very short series. So now we go to the next turn. And the next turn is turn 2, late October 1935. And we go to the first phase of the turn. And, of course, that is the chit draw phase. Here we go. Let's see if we got better luck, at least with the chits. We pull a chit. And this one, okay. This one is a special one. There's some chits that have what's called special codes. This is one of them. This is called Loyal Muslims. So let's take a picture of this. There you go. And we place this chit here in the second. And just a second, just to show you the special codes. These are like special events also that happen. You have, for example, the slowest Italian army advances, something that you wouldn't expect. This one, Loyal Muslims, is actually good for us, for a change. This one, all fascist rule tiles on a Muslim space retreat 1. And the good thing about that is that there is a fascist rule space in a Muslim space. That is Gorrahe. You see there the crescent. So that's, can't complain there. So now we go to the next phase. That is deploy units from the current turn box. There's no units in the turn box. There's no red event. So we go to the next phase and we have to roll for military and political events. This is the phase where you decide to exile the emperor if you want. I mean, with the luck we're having, we could. And one thing you have to have in mind is to exile the emperor. You see, this rail line here has to be available completely. So you have to have control of Dire Dawa. Dire Dawa is in the sea path. The Libyan Corps passes through this. So there comes a time that the emperor has to get the hell out of Dodge. Otherwise, Addis falls, the emperor is in Addis or in the calendar, and game over. So you got to watch out for Dire Dawa. Dire Dawa is important. Okay, let's zoom out here. ID Jester, we have royalty here. Welcome, sir. It's going great here. We're getting our asses kicked, but it's not your fault. Okay, So, okay, so we're not going to exile the Emperor. Come on, we're not going to go start the game and run in the second turn. So let's go now. Oh, I have to roll for the events. So let's pull out the table. We start with the, we call it the military event table. We roll 1d6 and we add the turn number, which is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. Whore level scandal. That's a good one for us. A whore level scandal. What unfortunate last name that is. Okay, let's take a picture of the card here. That's not it. It's this one. Okay. It's going to give us a positive die roll modifier for diplomatic attacks or influences in Geneva. And now we have to roll for the military events. We're in turn 2. We roll 1d6 and add the turn number. 1 plus 2 is 3. Let me show you the table again. I took it out too quickly. I'm sorry about that. It's a 3 Rasguksa defects, and that was one of Haile Selassie's races who just chickened out early in the war. So here we have it. We have the card. Let's take a picture of this event. There it is. Okay. Yes, Kaja, this is the Italian invasion of Ethiopia. Hello. And now we go to the next phase. We resolve the military and political events. So the military event is that we add this +1 to space F. So here's the +1. We place it here in Geneva. There's not a lot of there's not going to be any diplomats moving in there, so we may not even use that. The way things are going. So now we go to the military, the political events. Rasguksa defects. We lose a Maria Teresa dollar from our treasury. His defection, I mean, even though he was a Ras, wasn't a very significant political blow, but you lose 1 Maria Teresa dollar. And this card, as it states there, is removed permanently from the game. This event doesn't happen again. So we're going to lose a Maria Teresa dollar. We have now 1 left. And that was the event. And now we go to Italian Avanti phase. Let's check the movement. There's no movement because this is a special code in the game. Loyal Muslims. So all fascist rule tiles on a Muslim space retreat 1 space. I want to check when is this applied? That's what I forgot to check. A royal code, the special code. Special code. See if I can find it here. Just a second. Okay. Here it is. Special codes. It doesn't say when it happens. I mean, I don't think it's going to make a difference. So let's apply it now. So as I stated before, this event here, you see all fascist rule tiles on a Muslim space retreat 1 space. And you have it here. So it only retreats the fascist rule tile. So that goes back to Baido. It's still giving support to that plane unit in Gorrahe because it is adjacent. Okay, there's no movements on paths A, B, C. Yeah, it applies there. And the top of the screen was biting me. Beware, special codes take precedence. Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay, so that is that part of the Avanti phase. There's no Italian plane in the marker also. This was a special code. No diplomat also. Now there's no additional movement because the Duce is not in the balcony. the cheetah. Yes, we roll here. And we receive a number of dollars equal to the roll. Okay, could have been better. 2. So that means that we had 2 more Maria Teresa dollars. So we got 3. Okay. Now we go to the Takawemu phase. See, now there's a Rocafort there. We can't attack that Italian army there. You have to move back the fascist rule, and our class there got blown to pieces. So who could do that? The only person who can do that. Anybody want to take a guess who that is? That's Haile Selassie himself. Now, the good thing about using him now, he cannot get killed. The worst that can happen is that he fails, of course, and rolls a high number, and we have to wait for him to come back. So we want to get Haile Selassie. We're going to do a negus. We're going to send him on a mission to subvert fascist rule. So we place our negus there. Want to push that fascist rule back. So we roll 1d6. On a 1 or 6, he fails. He doesn't get killed on a 6. 2 through 5, he succeeds, and then we place him on the turn track, the number of turns indicated by the die roll. So here we go. A 2 would be great. Jesus Christ, this is awful. Okay, so he fails, and now he's coming back next year. So he comes back 6 turns later. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is worrisome. Oh boy, that was just awful. Yeah, they got to learn Italian very quick, the Ethiopians. So we started with a disaster there. We can't push back that army anyway. No, that is very sad there. So let's go against Graziani. Here we go. Let's deduct 1 Maria Teresa point, and let's attack Graziani. So we got 2 left. And you got the planes supporting the attack. So we have to roll higher than 3, actually. Here we go. 3. That's another failure. Boy, this is terrible. Can't build partisans. Got to do another attack here. Oh boy, let's see. Graziani again. So let's take out that point and roll the die. Here we go. Higher than 3, come on. Oh, okay. Got 1 left. I'm not going to spend it. So that's going to be the Takawemu. How do you say surrender in Ethiopian? So we go to the next phase. Check for the fall. No, it doesn't apply. Build Arbenyak. No, we can't build even if we wanted. Banking, we have $1. We can. There's 5 diplomats. Indian news box. Disband Arbenyak. Cancel the military event. Okay, we take it out. Move Red Cross doesn't apply. Advance fascist rule, yes. So there goes. That event was all for nothing here, because now the fascist rule marker with the plane in track P goes to Gorahe. Okay, and that's the end of the turn. We don't flip anybody. So that's the end of the second turn. We go now to turn 3. And we have British elections. Maybe the British will save us. So that's going to be the turn event. So let's go to the first phase of the turn. We pull a chip from the cup. See, there's one that has blank everything. That would be good. Ooh, this one's really ugly. Ah. Here we go. Let's take a picture of this event here. Okay, we place it in the box. And deploy units from the current turn box. There's no units in the box. And we do have a red event. And part of the cards that I made has the event. So here we have British elections. And it has a table. So look at this. Look how it works. We roll a die. Possible results minus diplomats means that we take diplomats out of Geneva and return them to an unused box. Plus means we add them from the unused box. So I'm rolling so poorly, everything should be all right. So let's see. Let's roll one die roll here. Here we go. And the roll is a 3. So with a 3, liberal resurgence, no effect. So I guess it's better than anything else. So that was the turn event, the red event. Now we go to roll a die to determine the military event for the turn and the political event. Let's bring in the military event table. Now we add 3 to the die roll. And it's a 6 + 3, 9 Dubats. That's not good for us. Okay, here's Dubats. Okay, let's take a picture of Dubats here. And this will give us a -1 on path D. That's Graziani's path, okay? So that was the military event. And now we go to the other events that are the political events. We add 3 to the die roll. Here we go. 4 + 3, 7. Okay, here we have a series of events. Let me pull them out. So we got Black Churches, Italian Artillery, and Red Cross. Black Churches, Italian Artillery, and Red Cross. Okay, let's take some pictures here. Okay, Black Churches, Italian Artillery, and Red Cross. Okay, we have all our events tallied. Do we exile the Emperor? No. We can't, actually, because he's in the calendar. So now we go to the next step, resolve the military and political events. And it says fast columns. That's a type of political event, which is very interesting when it happens. Scary like hell, but it's interesting. But we haven't encountered that yet. So Dubats, that is a -1. These are Somali troops that were indispensable for Italy. And they are fighting, of course, against us. And they are placed in track D. So we place the -1 marker here, track D. Now it's even harder to push Graziani back. Now we go to the political events. Black churches, and the black churches in the United States were contributing economically to Ethiopia over there. And we earn 1 Maria Teresa dollar. Okay, so let's put that on the scoreboard. Now we have 2 Maria Teresa dollars. Okay, and now we go to the next event, Italian Artillery. This one is not good. Each Italian army attack during the Takawemu phase is flipped and can no longer be attacked this turn. Normally, when you make an attack and you succeed, you flip the army. A regular attack. If you make a regular attack and succeed, you retreat the Italian army and flip it. You can't attack it again. But here, if you attack it and fail, like we've been doing consistently, you flip it. That means we can't attack it again. So I'm going to place this card as a reminder here. So I don't forget that. Okay, so those were all the events. Go to the next step. Move Italian armies on the paths. That depends on the chit. We have movements in C, and we have double D. So we have a double movement on D. So in C, we see here the Libyan Corps is going to move into Gerlagubi, another Muslim area, and Graziani with his meager number 2. No, this is not a canvas map. It is a paper map. It looks like canvas. Has a little effect there. Now, canvas map would be nice. Yeah. So we move Graziani 2 areas. He moves to Negele Borana. And from there, he moves to Birga Alem. Now, the good thing is he doesn't have air support. If we push him back to Negele Borana, he will. But if we do a regular attack, he will be inverted. We can't attack him again. So that was the movement of Italian armies. We go to the next step in this Avanti phase. Deploy the strongest Italian plane. All the Italian planes are deployed. You can see that the skies above box is empty, so that doesn't apply. They're all deployed. We go to the next phase. Deploy the strongest on flip diplomat. That is only if there's a briefcase. There's no briefcase in the chit, so that doesn't apply. Now we go to the next phase. There's no Duce moves. He's not at the balcony yet. Now we roll. There's 5 diplomats, so we roll 1d6 to see how much money we get. Finally, a decent number, 4. So we add 4. And now we have 6 Maria Teresa dollars. Now we have the Takawemu resist phase. We got to attack Graziani. He's too close for comfort. We cannot do a regular attack on here because it's a Rocafort. We got the fascist rule and the army. We could do a Ras attack, but the Ras got killed, and Haile Selassie just, went on a European tour or something, so he's not there. So we got Virga Alem. We're going to attack there. So let's spend 1 of our dollars to make an attack there. And there's a -1 die roll modifier for the military event. So we have to roll higher than 3, 4, -1, 3. Yes, we had to roll higher than 2, actually. There's 4, -1 for the die roll modifier. There's no air support. That's the 3. So Graziani is pushed back, but he is inverted. So we cannot do another attack on him now. I think we could do a Ras attack. I think we could push him back, but let me just check that. I think we could. Ras. The Ras doesn't have that. A Ras can attack an Italian army on its path. Yes, it doesn't say, oh, you can't attack an army that's flipped, and it's in red. And I highlighted, yeah, forget it. You can't attack. Okay, so that takes care of that. We have $5 left. This army is scary, but it's still in its first phase. If it gets to Makali, we could build a partisan behind it. It has to be an empty space. We can't build a partisan here because this is not an empty space. So we can't build any partisans. There's 5 diplomats. We can keep our $5. I don't see anything else we can do. I'm not going to spend $1 to get the Italian diplomat out of there. I can live with 5 diplomats. So, yes, I guess that's going to be... Oh, you love the channel, Steve. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're trying to improve every time. Yeah. So that's going to be, we're going to save those $5. I think we're going to need it. So we go to the last phase of the turn. Check for fall provision doesn't apply. Build Urban Yuck. Not banking. We save up to the number of unused diplomat. There's 5, so we can keep our $5. Disband Urban Yuck doesn't apply. We cancel the military event. Yes, it's out. And Red Cross doesn't apply. It hasn't entered yet. Advanced fascist rule. Yes. Now we have the advance of the fascist rule marker in Gorrahe to Negele Borana. Okay. There's no advance of the marker here. It can't move ahead of the army. So those two there can't advance. Now we go to unflipment. So now we unflip Graziani. Imagine if Graziani captures Addis Ababa. This is like it's a shame, right? End of turn. So that's the end of the turn. Statue of me. No. Okay, so didn't you know I had the Red Cross event. Did I? No, I didn't roll the Red Cross event. Did I have it? I don't think so, no. I had the... Oh, wait a second. Did I have the Red Cross event? Just a second, I have the cards here. Oh, you're right, I had them. Where is it? Two bats. I rolled... Black churches, Italian artillery, and Red Cross. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Man, I shot myself in the foot. Yes, I had the Red Cross event. That means that the Red Cross marker goes here in the tent. And now, when it says move Red Cross Hospital, now we can place it on the board. Thanks, Bruce. You're right. So now we can place it on one of the tracks. Now the thing with this event, it's not readily usable yet. You can use it to get a free attack on an army that is supported by a gas-carrying Italian plane, the ones in yellow. But that's going to happen soon. As soon as that Duce event happens, that's going to happen. And because the most dangerous army is this one, B, we're going to place it here in Desi. Okay, so we place it there. Okay, so we unflipped everything that had to be unflipped, and that's the end of the turn. And that Red Cross event now leaves the game because you don't. Now, when you use it, you just flip it and you can move it to other places. So that event doesn't happen again. So thanks for the heads up there. Okay. So now we go to the next turn, actually. We got another event coming up, sanctions vote. We're going to see if the League of Nations helps us in any way. So let's go to the first phase. First phase is deploy units. No, that's not the first phase. I skipped it. Here we go. First phase is... Oh, doesn't want to... There you go. Random turn chit. Okay. There we go. And let's take a look at this one. Well, could be worse. Let's take a picture there. We're going to have a diplomat moving and a double A move. Okay, A hasn't moved yet. So we place that marker in its box. December 1935. And there's a sanctions vote. There is no unit to deploy from that turn box, but there is a red event. Sanctions vote. And we have the card here. Let's see how this works. If Empire of Ethiopia is up, and it is up, just to show you, here it is in the international recognition box. Empire of Ethiopia is up. So we roll 1d6 here. On a 6, the League of Nations finally imposes serious sanctions on Italy. We raise the Ehrlichon total. The Ehrlichons are those Swiss anti-aircraft guns that are really cool. And we increase the total by 3 and discard the Italian tank unit. That would be so sweet if you could do that now, because that Italian tank is a pain in the ass. So let's see if we can do it. We have to roll a 6, and we haven't rolled a 6. I don't know if we've rolled a 6 in the whole game. So let's see. We roll 1d6. And of course, we roll a 4. So nothing happens. No sanctions. There's another sanction roll in turn 7. So there goes that. Now we roll for the military and the political events. So let's get the military table. And now we're in turn 4. We add 4 to the die total. 2 plus 4, 6. Sultan Olol Dinle. That's red, so he's not our friend. And here we see Sultan Olol Dinle. Let's take a picture of the Sultan. Okay, and now we roll for military, for political events. So let's bring the political event table. And we roll 1d6, and we add the turn number 4. 2 plus 4, 6. 6 is, let me get that table again. So 6. Fast column D. Dagabur Minefield and Red Cross. Well, Red Cross already happened. And so that doesn't happen again. Fast column D. Now you're going to see how fun the fast column mechanic is. Let's get it. Fast column D and the Dagabur Minefield. Okay. And let's take a photo first of the minefield because that happens first. So I got the minefield here. And then we will take care of the fast column event. Okay. So here we go. Now we resolve the events and we start with Sultan Olol Dinle. And he provides a -1 on path C. Take the -1 marker here. And path C, Merlogubi, is where the Libyan Corps is, so that's a -1 there. And now we go to the next event. This is first the Dagabur minefield goes first. If you hold Dagabur, which we do, we place the minefield marker, which is in the what you call a counter tray. You place it there, and as long as it is there, any attack on an Italian army there gets a +1. If the Italians control that space at the end of any turn, we discard the minefield. Okay. So here we have the Dagabur minefield chit. We place it here in Dagabur. Okay. And that's that event. And now we go to the fast column event. Look how this works. You advance the Italian army on path D, that is Graziani. 1 space. We can make a free attack on it with no die roll modifier. So the plane doesn't work there. If the attack succeeds, the event is over. If it fails, we advance the army again, and you repeat the process until you succeed, pushing the army back, or the army reaches Addis Ababa. Now, if the army has a tank, you have to defeat the tank first. That army doesn't have a tank. And if we would have a partisan, we can execute a free attack with the partisan, with the Arbenyok, but we don't have a partisan in that track. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And as that card states there, that can only be used once. So after we resolve this, you can't have another fast column event on that same track. So here we go. So path D, we start with Graziani advancing into Virga Alem. And we roll a die with no modification to see if we push him back. Here we go. And it's a 4, yes. So Graziani goes back to Negele Borana. He's not inverted, he's not flipped. And that card, that event that we just executed, I'm going to show you the card. Remember, the game doesn't bring the cards, but this can't happen again and only occur once per path. So the fast column event for path D is gone. Okay. So those are the military and political events. Now we have the Avanti phase. Let's see the marker. Double move on A. Okay, A had been dormant, so that's Adi Kuala. So we're going to have the army at Adi Kuala going into Aksum, which is its first area, and the second part of the double move into Gondar. Now notice it's not supported by the air unit. One of the cool things of the game is that you see the air support unit in B here. If that fascist rule marker would be here at Makale, it could support that defense even if it's in another track. Well, that is pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool mechanic in the States of Siege game. So that's the movement of the Italian armies. Now we go to deploy the strongest Italian plane. There's no plane anyway, and all planes are currently deployed. So that's a no effect. And now deploy the strongest unflipped diplomat. Is there a briefcase? Yes, there's a briefcase. So we're going to have a diplomat deployed to the League of Nations. The strongest diplomat is the French diplomat with a strength of 3. That means that if we conduct an influence attack against a diplomat, we have to roll higher than that number, than the number there. So that is that step. There is no Duce moves because the Duce is not in the balcony. Now we roll a die, Chitet phase. Hopefully we'll roll something decent and get some money. 1. Okay, we get $1 stinking here, which we add, and we got 6 now. The money really hasn't been a problem, it's the attacks. And now we go to the Takawemu phase. I'm going to clear that table there, so I'll see if I can think here. Graziani is supported. We have the RAS for D. If we want to try to push back that fascist rule marker, we could try. And we should try an attack on Gondar, since that Italian army is not air supported. So let's spend our first dollar there. We're going to make a conventional attack. We need higher than 3 to push that Italian army back, and it is a 4. So it goes back to Aksum, and it is flipped. So we can't attack it again. Okay? That wasn't bad. Now we can make a Red Cross attack only if it's a gas-carrying plane there. So Red Cross is there for decorative purposes. See what else we could do here. Some more attacks. We could commit a Negos against, what do you call it, Graziani to push. Yeah, let's do that. We have our Negos here. Our next hero here, Ras Desta. I'll put him here. We're going to go against he's going to conduct what is called here a subvert fascist rule mission. So we need anything but a 1 or a 6, and in a 6, he buys the farm. So let's see here. Roll 1d6. Jesus. So Desta is gone. The second Ras we lose, he's gone. And that was another failure. Man, that was just... This was worse than we can tell the Emperor here. Man. Oh, the Italian artillery card. Thanks for reminding me. That doesn't apply this turn. I should have taken it out. Yeah, I got it. Good point there. Thanks, Brian. Gondar was a hard-fought battle in 1941. Okay, where's Gondar? Gondar is up there. There you go. There's Gondar. Can't use the Red Cross Hospital. Influence diplomats. We got $5. We can't place, oh, wait a second. We can place a partisan here, yep. You can place a partisan in Gorrahe because it is empty. So a partisan will cost 2. And we have to buy the partisan. And you buy the partisans, I think, in the next... Let me see one thing. Let me just advance it here. We buy the partisans, build Arbenyuk, yeah. So we don't buy them yet. So, okay, I'm going to save my money for the partisans. We can't attack Graziani here because this is a Rocafort. We could attack these guys. We have money. But this is going to be a -2. I think that's going to be a waste, but then that fascist rule will move here. Let's give it a shot. We've been rolling so poorly, we might pull it off. Okay, let's hear. Let's go and deduct another $1. We have 4 left. We can still build the partisans. And we're going to attack the Libyan Corps here. There's a -2. So we need 6. We need a 6, actually. Yeah, you're going probably, don't do it. Yeah, what the hell, let's go. So here we go. And you got it. You gotta love these State of Siege games. Okay, so we got the 6. So with all adversity, we got the Libyan Corps moving back. And you're supposed to flip it there, but you can't attack it there anyway, but we flip it. I think I did it. Oh, I'm sure now I've advanced the... No, because the C... Wait a second. Shouldn't I have advanced the fascist rule in C at the end of the last turn, making... Let me think about it. What was the... See the C? Yeah, you're right. Yep, that doesn't count. So I get my... I couldn't attack him. Good point. Forgot to move the fascist rule here. So that means that would be a Rocafort. Yeah, because that army moved before. That's a good point. So let's get that point back. Okay. Okay, we got that point back. Yes, good point, Bruce. Yeah, I couldn't attack there. For some reason, I didn't move that fascist rule. I should have moved it. Yep. Okay, so that's going to be the end of this phase. Now we go to the last phase of the turn. Build Arbenyuk. We can build an Arbenyuk here. The cost is the cost of the Italian army. So we deduct 2. So we got 3 left. And... oh no, I can't build Arbenyuk. You know why? Because the event hasn't happened. So you can't build Arbenyuk. The Arbenyuks are, look where they are. Can't build Arbenyuk yet. So let's add those 2 points back. Can't build it. There's an event that moves those Arbenyuk to the Imperial tent. So can't build Arbenyuk on flip. No, we don't, nothing to unflip, but the army back here, that one gets flipped. And now I have to move the, where is it? Advanced fascist rules. I skipped that. So here we have in track A, the fascist rule marker advances. In track B, it stays where it is. Can't get ahead of the army. And we have the fascist rule markers with their armies there, so they don't move at all. We can move the red cross. I'm going to leave it there with track B. Cancel the military event. Okay. Unflip. No, we already flipped everybody. That's the end of the turn there. Okay. Now we go to the next turn. Turn 5, 1936, January. And we go to the next phase in that turn, which is the turn, what do you call it? Random turn chit draw. You feel like the rules lawyer. I prefer that, Bruce, than watching the video tomorrow and going, oh, damn it, I forgot to move the fascist rule. And then I get a bunch of people, hey, you forgot to move the fascist rule. I don't mind it at all. This is the advantage of the live stream. If I do an edited video and I screw up, then that doesn't get corrected. So I really appreciate it. So, okay, have you played the game, Bruce? Because it looks like you have. I don't know, maybe you haven't, but. Okay, so here we go. We pull another random turn chit. And this one has a lot of icons. Here we go. So let's take a picture of the chit and we place it on its space here. And that is January 1936. There's no unit to bring as a reinforcement. You haven't played, thinking of buying it. I like it. I like it a lot. And play the red event. There's no red event, so we go to the next phase. That's where we roll for military and political events. So let's bring in the military events table. And now we're in turn 5. So we add 5 to the die roll. 5 plus 1, 6. Sultan Al-Dindli. And he's gonna win the most MVP award. He's showing up a lot. So Sultan Al-Dindli. Get another picture of him right there. And now we roll on the, what do you call it? The political event table. And we add 5. So here we go. 5 plus 6, 11. We got the partisans. Let me put that in a box here. I'll get the cards. So it's Arbenyak. Tanks is already, oh, we get the Duce event. Okay, Arbenyak. See if I can find that here. Arbenyak. Rumors. Tanks, that's already in force. Yayo of Sardo. What a character. And Duce. So let's take a picture of all these events. Starting with Arbenyak. Then we have rumors. Then we have Yayo of Sardo. And finally, Duce. Okay. And we go to the next step. Oh, we can't exile the Emperor. He's in the turn track. Resolve military and political events. So here we go. Military event is Al-Dindli, and he's in track C. So we place -1 there in track C. Now we go to the next event, rumors, right? Yeah, no. We did all in. The next event is Arbenyuk. We take the 4 Arbenyuk partisans and we place them from the counter tray into the Imperial tent. And this event can only happen once. So here we have the 4 Arbenyuk partisans. We place them in the tent. Boy, the tent, there's a lot of space in the tent. So we place the partisans there. They go from A to D. Okay. Okay, that's Arbenyuk. That event doesn't happen again. Let me get it out of the way. Next event is Rumors. Flip any one fascist rule or plain tile in Ethiopia. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Which one do we want to flip? Fascist rule or plain? I'd rather flip the plain so it doesn't help in the defense, but it has to be somebody we can push back. See, Graziani is 3 steps from Addis. The strongest army is 1, 2, 3, 4, and A is 4. And we have movements, let's see, in this turn from C. Okay. So, man, and in C we have that -1. Okay. We got $5. We have enough dollars for attacks on C and D. We have the Rasses. The Ras for C, we have it. We have the Ras for C. Okay. So we're gonna flip the plane on D. So that plane cannot provide air support this turn. There you go. So we resolved that event. That was Rumors. Next event, Yayob Sardo. You can't use the rail line this turn to evacuate Haile Selassie. Well, normally that would be worrisome, but Haile Selassie's in the turn track. So what I'll do, I'll just perform, I'll put Yayo there, and I'll put this magnet right here in the middle of the rail track, so I know that that is blocked. But I mean, it's a no effect because Selassie is in the turn 8 box, and we're in turn 5. So that's applicable there. That's Yayob Sardo, and now he did his event. Now comes Duce. Mussolini takes command and orders the Regia Aeronautica to use poison gas. We place the Duce tile in the balcony, and all 4 Italian blue planes are discarded and replaced with their yellow variants. Okay. So we bring the Duce piece from the counter tray, place him here in the balcony. So now that phase, the Duce step in the Avante phase will apply, and we'll have to check to see if there's going to be additional moves by the Italians. So that's another thing to worry about. And then we take these 4 planes, which carry gas, and we substitute the blue ones for these planes. So, for example, take out this one. This one goes here. Substitute the one in B. And the same goes C plane here. And you'll see how it's pretty cool how the poison gas effect is handled. It changes the combat resolution a little bit and makes it a lot more interesting. So this one is flipped. There's it there. Okay, so we just did the Duce event. That's it. We resolved all political military events. And now the Italian Avanti phase. Here we go. Let's check the chit again. There's movement on track C. We're going to move into Dagobur. That's where the minefield is. So I move there into Dagobur. And that is supported by that gas-carrying plane. It would have been nice for the Red Cross to be in that track, but it isn't. Should probably move it there. But we get the Dagobur +1 if we attack it there. But notice there's no -1 for the plane because the combat works differently. I'll show you. I'm going to attack it anyway. Probably it's tough, but we should do it anyway. We have enough money for it. Okay, so that is the movement on the track. Yes, we did that. Okay. So the next step is deploy planes from the sky. They're all deployed. And diplomats to Geneva, and there's a briefcase there. So we pull a diplomat from Geneva, and it's always, you take the strongest one, the British, and the British and the French really screwed Ethiopia over with all the appeasement, and they didn't want Mussolini to get close to Hitler, so they helped Italy by not being very forceful at Geneva. Now we have 3 in Geneva, what means that there's 3 diplomats in the unused diplomat box. That means we can save up to $3. So we better spend at least 2 here. Okay? So now we check any additional Duce moves. And what we do is we check these chits here. Look how this works. The first thing is, with the Duce, any Italian armies in their starting boxes, the white boxes, move 1 area. There's no Italian armies in their starting areas. And now we check to see if in the top right-hand corner, if the icon that you see here is the same as the icon here or the letter number, then you repeat that action. So we have briefcase for the turn chit in turn 5, briefcase for turn 5 in the same spot. That means another diplomat goes now to Geneva. And the rule is the strongest diplomat. So suddenly now the diplomatic phase of the game is becoming an issue. We got the Mexican diplomat now in Geneva. So now we have 4 there and 2 in the unused box. So now we got to worry about maybe making a diplomat influence attack on that. We can choose the one. We can choose a Mexican. It's anything over a 1. But with our luck, you never know. Okay, so that is the additional Duce moves. Now the cheated call to arms phase, and now this is gonna bite us in the ass too. We roll a die. If the die roll is higher than the number of unused diplomats, we lose $1. So we roll 1 die. Okay, it's not higher. We only gain $1, so now we got 6. And that was the cheated call to arms phase. Now we got the Takawemo resist phase. Let me get this out of the way. We got $6. We're going to do an attack there in Dagobur. But look at this. If we attack Graziani now, that Italian plane in Gerlogubi can provide support because it is adjacent. And then if we use the Airlicons and beat the Italian plane, we get it out of there. Interesting. Let's see, in the north, they're still in their first area there. We got the Red Cross can do a free attack. Okay, let's attack Graziani. This is a strategy. We attack Graziani with that Italian plane there. We're going to use an air, well, no, let's not use an Ehrlichon point. If we beat that plane, it doesn't get destroyed, but it gets flipped, and then it can't provide support in the Dagobor attack. So that's our Ethiopian plan. Let's see if it works. So let's spend $1. We got 5 left, and we are going to attack here. So the way it works when there is poison gas is we roll 2 dice. The lower die roll is checked against the army to see if it beats the army. And if it beats it, it retreats it. And the higher die roll is checked against the strength. Oh, yes, that's right. I can't do Graziani. Bruce, thanks again. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay, that's right. I can't do Graziani. That is right. That is a Rocafort. Okay, so we'll have to do the attack. I'm going to spend the same point here. We're going to do the attack on Dagobor. That one is not a Rocafort because the fascist rule is here. Okay, but the plane is supporting the defense. So, and you signify that in the game by bringing the plane to the area there. So let's bring the plane there. And so the plane is there. It is supporting that attack. That I'm supposed to, in the rules say you fly the plane there and then you return it to base. I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, if I had flipped the fascist rule instead of the, yeah, maybe, yeah, but yeah, that's right. Maybe then there wouldn't be a yeah. And I think that's the whole point of the flipping the fascist rule. Okay, I'll have it in mind for the next time. Okay, but here we go with the attack. So we roll 2 dice. There's a -1 that you apply to both dice. The lower result is applied against the army. But we have the minefield, so we get a +1. So our +1 in the minefield cancels the -1. So let's roll the dice. But we roll 2 dice. Here we go. And the roll is a 6, a 1 and a 6. The lower result is compared against the army, so it doesn't push the army back. The 6 is compared as to the plane. It defeats the plane. It doesn't destroy it. If we would have used an Ehrlichon point, I would have placed the Ehrlichon marker there, and we beat it, then we destroy it. It doesn't destroy it, but it returns it to base flipped. So this is what happens. The plane returns to the fascist rule-based flipped. The army is not retreated, okay? We can attack it again, and now it doesn't have air support. It still has that stinking -1 over there, but it doesn't have air support. Okay, so let's attack it again, and we can attack the army again. Once we retreat it, it flips, and we can't attack the army again. So let's spend another $1 here. We have 4 left. And this time we roll a die. We have to roll higher than 3. And here there's no gas involved, so we only roll 1 die here. Here we go. And this time it is a 6. So that army is retreated. And it retreats back to Gerlogubi. And there you go. Spent $2, but got the job done there. Okay. So let's see what we have in our tent here. We have partisans. The partisans are placed in the last phase. We have the races for A and C. With A, we could try to push the fascist rule back. A and C, the races. C is pretty darn. We could try to push the fascist rule back with the Ras in C. Let's do that. So this is Ras Nasibu. Let me bring here, you can see. Okay, subvert fascist rule. Put him here. Anything but a 6. A 6 kills the Ras. We've already lost 2. So if we lose 1 more, that's it. We can't keep on risking Rases. Maybe I shouldn't risk him. What the hell, let's do it. Okay, so here we go. Anything but a 6. Oh, so here, there he goes. Ras Nasibu. He's gone. Can't believe it. That is just awful luck. Got 1 Ras left, so gotta protect him. Okay. That is just awful. Okay. We got 4 left. We got to do something because we're going to lose 2. So we got to keep on attacking. Attack somewhere. We can't attack here. We can't attack here because that's Rocafort. Everything is Rocafort. We can try, well, we can bring diplomats. That's the only thing we can do. So let's spend $1. We got 3 left. Let's try to get the Mexican diplomat back to the unused box. So we have to roll higher than 1. And that's a cocked die, digital die. I can't believe. Let's roll again. That's incredible. It happens, not frequently, but it happens. We need higher than 1. And it's a 6. So he goes back to the unused diplomat box. Was a 1. Okay. Yeah, I would have advanced in the next turn. Yeah. So we still have $1 to use. We're going to use it here. Let's push the British diplomat back. So let's spend the money. Or we can keep $3. I'm going to keep the $3. Yeah, I'm not going to push anybody back. We can keep the $3 because there's 3 diplomats there. That's going to be it. Okay, wait. Oops. There we go. Now, provisional government check. Build Arbenyok. Yes. Okay. We can place an Arbenyok in Gorrahe here. Has to be an empty space controlled by the Italians. The Graziani has a strength of 2. So we bring the Arbenyok for track C. Here we spend $2, so we have 1 left. And we place him back here. So it's the only good thing about not pushing the fascist rule tile back. They have some partisans on their backs there. Okay, so we bank, we save the $1 remaining, we cancel the military event. Here we go. We're not going to disband the Ardennes. Move the Red Cross. Yes, we want to move that Red Cross. I'm going to put it here. And Jajo, his effect is over. So let's take it out. Now we advance fascist rule. There's no fascist rule to advance. They are all with their respective armies. You can see there. On flipment, yes, there is on flipment. We flip the army in C with its plane there. And we also flip the plane in track D. So that's the turn-in phase. We ended the turn. Let's Still got 6, 7, 8, 9. We still have 4 turns to go. I don't know how long we've been going on. It takes a while. An hour and 45. Man, it's long. Okay, here we go. When we go to the next turn, let's bring the turn 6. And we go to the next phase. And that is the chit draw phase. There we go. Oh, another busy chit. Here we go. Let's take a pick. And that's going to bring everything. Another diplomat at least. Okay, so now we go to the next phase. Deploy current units. There's no unit. There's no red event. Yeah, in practice it would play quicker with me not having to push all these buttons. But okay, so we roll a die for, let's bring in the table for the military events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We add 6 to the die. Here we go. And it is a 6, so it's 12. Eagle and Condor. Let's see what that is all about. Eagle and Condor. This one's good for us. +1 to all attacks on Space E. Space E is the skies over Ethiopia. That would be a +1 to all attacks against airplanes. So this one comes in handy. So let's film. Let's take a picture of that one. Okay, so now we roll for the military, the political event table, and we add 6. So here we go. 6 + 5 is 11. And on 11, it is Arbenyuk Rumors, Yayov Sardo again, and Duce. So of all these, the only ones, Duce is in effect. Arbenyuk already happened. So we got Rumors again. Tanks is in effect, and Yayov Sardo. Okay. So let's take a picture of Arbenyuk is in effect, so that doesn't apply. Let's take a picture of Rumors. And let's take a picture again of Yayov Sardo. And the others don't apply because they are already in force. Yep. Duce and Arbenyuk. Okay, so now we resolve the military event. Eagle and Condor, a +1 applies to Space E. So here's our +1 marker. So we get a +1 against the planes. Let's place it there. That means in a combat situation, that die against the plane gets a +1. If it's one of those situations where we roll 2 dice, that die roll against the plane gets a pass. Yeah, flip a fascist rule this time. Yeah. Okay, so we resolve the military political events. We're doing that. We just did that one. Now we go Rumors. Flip any fascist rule or plane tile in Ethiopia. Well, that one's Space B is hard to push back, yeah. Let's flip a fascist rule tile. Yeah, so there's no Rocafort. Well, we don't have partisans in C, so let's Let's flip that one there. So we flip the fascist rule marker. There you go. In space C. Okay, so we just did rumors. Yayo Sardo, again, he blocks here the rail. It's not going to have any effect. The Emperor is still in the calendar. Okay, so those are the political events because Duce is in effect and Arvegnok already happened. Now we move Italian armies. We got movement on track A. So that Italian army moves into Gondar. Okay. Deploy Italian plane from skies. There's no Italian planes there. They're all on the board. Diplomat. I saw the briefcase. Yes. So we deploy the strongest diplomat, and that's going to be a Mexican diplomat. So he gets placed in Geneva. So we place him here. There we go. Now we go to the next one. Make additional Duce moves. Let's see, he's in the balcony. Let's see if any Duce move applies. No. Because if there would have been an A here, imagine this would have been here, A, B here. Then the A repeats itself and you can move the A. But these don't match. There's no match between this one and this one. So there is no Duce move, and no Italian armies are in their starting points, so they don't move either because of that. So now we go to the next phase. Cheat it. We roll a die. We're gonna be punished if it's higher than 2. Let's see. 6. We get a -1 sanction because the number is higher than a news diplomat. So it's 5. So we add 5. We got 6 Maria Teresa dollars. Now we go to the Takawemo resist phase. Okay, let's see here. There's no Rocafort in C, so we can attack C. Let's do that. Let's spend $1 to make a conventional attack on C. So we roll 2 dice. Lower number compared to the army, higher number compared to the plane. Do we want to use an Ehrlich? I don't want to burn my Ehrlichons because I only have 3 left. There's an event that increases it, but let's wait till that happens. So we roll 2d6, and we get a 1 on that higher roll. The higher roll is a 7, so that means that the Italian plane gets flipped. That's not going to have an effect unless we attack again, which we could. So the 3 against the army has no effect. We didn't roll higher than the army, and the plane gets flipped because the result was higher than the rating of the plane. It doesn't get destroyed. If we would have used an Ehrlichon, it would have been destroyed. So we can spend another $1 now to make another attack, and this would be a straight attack here on that. No. Yes, it would be a straight attack against the army. So let's do that. So let's take another $1 off. And now it's a regular attack. Just 1 die. Here we go. 2, that's a fail. We got 4 left. We can't bring partisans in the north here. Let's spend 1 here. Try to get that Mexican diplomat. So let's spend here 1. Got 3 left. Here we go. Need anything but a 1. Ooh, almost. Okay, 3. So that diplomat is out of there. And we place him back in the unused diplomat box. That allows us to keep the $3 we have. We still have the ras and A, but that's the last ras, so we're not going to use it, because if he gets killed, it's game over. Where's my beer? I'm going to do something. I'm going to put a 1-minute commercial after this turn, and I'm going to get my beer. Yeah, that's going to bring me luck. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so I think I'm not going to spend anything else. Oh, wait a second. Now we can't use the Red Cross hospital because the gas plane cannot fly. So probably should have done that before, but what the hell. Okay, so that's going to be that phase. Turn end phase, check for fall of the provisional government, doesn't apply. Build Arbenyak, we can't. Banking, we save our 3 because there's 3 diplomats in the unused box. Disband Arbenyak, cancel military event. Yes. Where's the military event? That is up here. We canceled it. We canceled Yayo of Sarda, blocking the railway. Okay, move Red Cross Hospital. Do we want to move it? Man, those armies in the north are really stagnant. Let me see. Yeah, I probably want to move it. Let me see, I don't have a way of pushing the fascist rule marker in D back. So it's tricky because you don't know in the next turn which Italian army is going to move. So I'll move it here to B. Now B, yeah, let's move it here to B. Now let's move it to A. Because this army is getting close. Let's move it to A. Okay. Advanced fascist rule. So we have an advance by fascist rule here in A, now to Gondar. And there's no more advanced fascist rule. Unflipment. So we unflip the fascist rule marker and plane here in Gerlogubi. There's nothing else to unflip. Okay, and that's the end of this turn. That's the end of the turn, and I'm going to take Randy's advice. I'm going to walk to the fridge, but I already have a 1-minute commercial about a game that I'll show you, so that will be running running now, and I'll be back with the beer. Okay, and we're going now to turns 7, 8, and 9. Here we go. And here we are with the beer. This is Samuel Smith Organic Chocolate Stout. My older son says this is chocolate milk. But okay, let's see if this brings us better luck. What about attacking A? Well, A has a Roquefort, and we placed the hospital there. I think the hospital can't attack because there's a Roquefort. So yeah, it's gonna. I don't see many attacks unless the A advances. If the A advances, then we can attack it because he's not in a Roquefort. So we're gonna have to see. Okay, so we have our beer ready. Let's see if that changed things. We have our last 3 turns. So we are going now to turn 7, early March, and there's sanction votes. So let's go to our first phase. Oh, you like the commercial? Night Fighter Ace by Greg Smith. Cool. Random turn chit draw. We're going to turn 7. Here we go. Turn 7. This is my favorite chit. Nothing. This is great. Nothing. There's no moves. That's a great chit. Okay, so let's take a photograph of that chit, because we're going to be consulting it, of course. There you go. Nothing. And now we go to deploy units from current turn box. There's no units. In the next turn, we get our Nigus. That is Haile Selassie comes back. We have a red event. Sanctions. That's like a shot from half court here. Here we have sanctions vote again. Empire of Ethiopia is up. We roll 1d6. Let me put this flat here, see if I have better luck. Roll 1d6. On a 6, we get 3 points of Ehrlichon anti-aircraft. Here we go. And 4. So that failed. Sanctions were good for nothing. Okay, so that was a red event. Now we go to the next phase. And the next phase brings the military events table. Here we go. Okay, so we add now 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the die roll. And let's see what military event we get. 7 plus 4, 11. Eagle and Condor again. Can't complain. Like that event. So, Eagle and Condor. There's Eagle and Condor, okay. And now we roll for the political events. We had a 7 plus 4, 11. Arbenyok, Rumors, Tank, Yayo, and Duce. So it's really going to be Rumors and Yayo again. It's a lot of rumors in this game. Okay, so let's take a picture of Rumors. And we have Yayo again. Yayo is showing up a lot. Okay. Okay. Can't excel the Emperor. He's in the calendar. Resolve military events. Eagle and Condor. So we place our +1 marker in the skybox here. The only thing, I don't think we'll be attacking anybody because everybody's in a Roquefort, right? So that is the military event. Rumors. Flip anyone fascist rule or plain tile. Well, we'll attack whoever we flip the fascist rule marker. So this is the one we want to attack, and it's going to be yay. Why? Because we could attack, regular attack, and get a free Red Cross attack. Yep. So let's flip there the fascist rule marker. Okay. And that was rumors and Jayo again. Let's place the block here. Some Spanish music in the background. Move Italian armies. No armies to move. This is a blank shit. So if you're playing the historical game in the first turn, Italians don't move. It's not surprising. Okay, so we go to the next phase here. Deploy the strongest Italian plane. There's no plane in the chit. They're all, and there's no diplomat to move. Make additional duce moves. It's not going to apply because you have from the previous turn back here, you have an A, and here you have a blank, so you don't have any matches there, so that's not going to apply either. So, Duce hasn't produced anything yet in terms of additional moves. The Chitet phase, here we go. Anything over 3 is a -1. Another 1. Okay, so we only get 1 more dollar. So we're at 4. Now we go Ethiopian Takawemu resist phase. Okay, we could have an attack with the Red Cross. I'm going to check if you flip the fascist rule, if the plane still works. We're assuming it does here, but I'll check it after today. I guess it does. But, okay, so the Red Cross gives us a free attack against the army with the plane, as long as the plane can provide a defensive bonus, which it can. So we roll 2 dice. Lower result against the army, higher result against the plane, and we get a +1 for the plane because of our Eagle and Condor event. So here we go. Jeez, 1 and 1. So that's a failure on both counts. So that was the free Red Cross attack. So we flipped the Red Cross marker just to denote that we can't attack with the Red Cross again. But we can make a regular attack. Let's do that because it's the only army we can attack because it's not in Rocafort. So let's deduct $1. We have 3 left. And here we go. We got a +1 on the higher roll. So that's a 3 and a 5. So the 3 doesn't push the army back. The 5 does return the plane to base, and it cannot provide support again. So we can still do another attack on that army. How many diplomats are there? There are 3. Well, let's do another attack. Got $2 left. Now it's a regular attack. We roll 1 die. There's no poison gas, so 1 attack, 1 die. Jesus. This is awful. 2 left. $2 left. I wasn't going to build a partisan because I can't. We have 1 class left. Can't do anything. I don't want to. Do I want to spend $1 influencing diplomat? I don't think so. Man, that was just terrible. Yeah. Yeah, you can't attack anybody else here. That's going to be it for the turn. We don't build Arbenyak banking. We can keep our $2. We cancel the military event that is here. Move the Red Cross Hospital. Okay. That's the closest army to Addis. I'm going to leave it there. Advanced fascist rule doesn't apply. All their armies are with their fascist rule markers. Unflipment. That applies. So we unflip the Red Cross Hospital. And we also unflip fascist rule with its plane. And that's the end of the turn. Go to the next turn. Oops. Turn 8, late March 1936. Now we go to the first phase. We're going to have our Emperor joining us again. Random turn chit draw. And I don't think we're going to get another one like this. Here we go. Draw a chit, and it is movement on B, A, and D, almost everything. You take a photograph, you place it here. We go to the next phase and deploy units from the current turn box. Okay, so that means that Haile Selassie, the Emperor, returns to the Imperial tent. Now we go to the next phase. Red event, there's no red event. So we skip that phase, and now we go to the tables, the military event table. We roll a die, add the turn number. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We roll and add 8. Again, 11. Eagle and Condor. Man, I'm liking that event. I should use it more, but don't have anybody to attack with. So everybody's in Rocafort. So here you go. And now we roll for political events and we add 8. 8 and 1 plus 1, 9. That is fast column C. Uh-oh, I don't like that one. Fast column C. Let me put a square there so I can... There's a lot happening here. Fast column C. Arbenyak. Ignore that one. That's in effect. Eritrean mutiny. Radio spoofing. Red Cross and Duce, they are already on. So let's take... I'm going to leave fast columns for the last because we resolved that one last. So we start here with Eritrean mutiny, radio spoofing, and fast column C. So those are the events. Resolve military and political events. The military event was the, yeah, I think I did already. That was the Eagle and Condor. I did that one already. So Eritrean mutiny. You can flip any one Italian army at this time. Can flip any Italian army at this time. There's going to be movements by A, B, and D. I wonder if those armies move if they're flipped. Let me see. That'll be good to know. Let's see here. That'll be nice to know. I think that is. Let me see. These are the bad things about in live here. I don't know the answer. Rocafort. Okay. Events. I did the events. Still be here somewhere. That is my question. Do I move an army that is inverted? I'm looking for that here. Okay, it says, let me tell you this. Doesn't say anything. Because if I move an army back, that means that the fastest rule marker goes with it, I suppose. I can't find anything now here. Oh boy. 4 units events. These are events. For Hanena, we did that. Okay, here it is. The letters refer to movement of Italian armies. A letter, okay, moves the Italian army on the path ahead 1 space. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything, so it moves. I assume it moves. So this event that we have, which is Eritrean Mutiny, you can flip any Italian army at this time. It's gonna move anyway. But then why would I want to flip an army? That's weird. Eritrean Mutiny. You can flip any one Italian army. Because when you flip an army, I can't attack it. Oh, that is weird. That is weird. Okay. Well, that one is going to move. The ones that are going to move are A, D, and B. So I guess I'll flip C. I'll flip C then, I suppose. This is something I have to look up in the rules later because it's kind of weird. So you flip an army, meaning I can't attack it. It should be that you can't move a flipped army. But because otherwise it doesn't make too much sense. Okay, we flipped that. We did that event. Sorry for the added time. Radio spoofing. No RAS may be committed this turn, but the Negus still can. Reduce Ethiopia's treasury to 0. This sucks. So Ethiopia's treasury goes from 2 to 0. Well, that was radio spoofing. And now we have the fast column C. This is what doesn't make any sense about flipping that army. Fast column. Yeah. It really doesn't make any sense to flip it. Because now it may advance with a fast column. Well, it's flipped. It doesn't say anything it can't advance. Look how this works. You advance the army one space. Let's see if I can get a picture without my finger in it. Okay, here it is. You advance the Italian army in path C, one space. You can make a free attack on it with no die roll modifier. If the attack succeeds, the event is over. If it fails, advance the army one more space, try another attack. Continue until you succeed or the Italians enter Addis Ababa. Okay, and this is flipped. It's kind of weird. Okay, so it moves here. And now we have to roll higher than 3. There's no modification. There we go. And we rolled a 4, so that succeeds, and it goes back here. But it is flipped. Okay, so that was it. So the fast column didn't succeed, and this track is also closed for future fast columns. So we had radio spoofing, fast column, and that was the event. Now we have the Avante, yep. Move armies on paths B, A, and D. Okay, so the armies at B move here into Makala, and you move it with the tank. A and D, right? Yeah, B, A, and D, yes. So A moves also. Moves into the Blue Nile. And Graziani, it's down here, also moves. And he moves into Virga Alem. Now deploy the strongest Italian plane. There's no planes to deploy. Diplomats. Any diplomat? No diplomats on the chit, so that doesn't happen. Now we have any additional Duce moves? I don't think so, because they are not the same. You have a blank and a B, so that's not the same. So now we go to roll. Chitet, there's 3 diplomats, and we get $3. We had 0, it was wiped out by the event. So now we add 3. Okay. Now we go to our phase here. Takawemu. We can try that Red Cross attack here. See how that works. They are all supported by gas-carrying planes. This army is flipped. We cannot attack it. Okay, so we can attack the ones that are mostly ahead here. So let's attack for, this one is, let me see, 1, 2, there, Graziani, And this, the one in the blue now, are 2 spaces away. Let's attack this one first with the Red Cross Hospital. So that's a free attack. We roll 2d6. Lower result against the army. 3 doesn't push the army back, and it doesn't flip the plane either. So that attack fails. That was the free attack. Boy, and they're gonna move close. And I gotta leave $2 for an Arbenyuk partisan in track A. So I can do one more attack. Shh. That's the hardest one to push back. So Graziani should be easier, so let's do that. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna try to push back. This one costs money, so we 2 left here. And we rolled 2 dice. And this time it was a success. The 4 pushes Graziani back, the 5 flips the plane. So Graziani is pushed back, and the plane is flipped. So that one was successful. And we have $2 left to build our partisan for track A. That's going to be everything for that turn. Okay, let's see now. Build Arbenyuk. Yes, we're going to build the Arbenyuk in track A. Have it here. And it's going to cost... Oh, wait a second. We can't build the Arbenyuk in track. You know why? Because that costs 3, because that is in a space 3, so we can't build the Arbenyuk there. Banking, we can keep our $2 because we have 3 diplomats. We cancel the military event again. We can move the Red Cross Hospital. I think it's going to stay there. And advance fascist rule. Yes. So we advance the fascist rule marker here to the Blue Nile, dangerously close to the capital here. And here it doesn't advance. It does advance on track B. Things are getting ugly here. I think in the next turn we're going to get Haile Selassie out of there. So now we flip. We flip the army at C and D. We also flip the plane at D. And we flip our Red Cross marker here. That's the end of the turn. Now we go to step A again of the last turn of today, or today. It takes a while. Turn 9, early April 1936. I take the block by Yayo Sardo off. Let's take it out. I go to the first phase here. Random turn. This is the 9th turn. There we go. Let's take a picture. It's going to be movement on B and C. No units to deploy, no red event. So we go to the military event phase. And now we add 9 to the die. 6 plus 9, 15, Rhineland crisis. There's a red event. Let's take a look at what that entails. Rhineland crisis. It's going to be a +1 at the diplomatic at Geneva there. Okay, so now we go to the political events and we add 9. So here we go. 9 + 6, 15. 15 black churches. Oops, let me put that again here. Black churches, black shirts, and tanks. Okay, so let's get those. Tanks is already ongoing, so. Okay, so let's get a picture. Black churches is good. And we got a new event. Black shirts. Exile the Emperor. I think I'm going to exile the Emperor. So, yeah, these guys are 2 away, a double move, and they'll reach the capital. You have a double move in the next turn, and they reach the capital. So, the Emperor is going to be exiled. So he's here in Addis Ababa, and from there he moves all the way to Djibouti. And from Djibouti he takes a ship, and it's hasta la vista, baby. And there's an effect when you exile the Emperor, which I haven't committed to memory. Let's see here. It's here somewhere. Exile the Emperor. Exile the Emperor. Here it is. Okay. Remove the Negus into exile. Make 1 free attack against each diplomat in the Geneva box as his parting shot. And what that reflects is his famous speech at the League of Nations. So we can make a 1 free attack against the Negus, against the diplomats. Okay. So we go against the French first. Let's see if we can send them to the box. 1d6. Nope. Now let's go against the British diplomat. So we send them back. Need higher than 2. Yes. So he goes back to the unused diplomat box, and we got the Italian left. So we roll 1d6, and we need higher than 4. Ah, no. So we got to send 1 back. And that's everything. Yeah, that's exiling the Emperor. And there's a little box for that. So we have the Emperor here. There's a box here. Replace him. He's in exile. And now we resolve the military and political events. Rhineland crisis, -1 on all attacks in space F. Space F is Geneva, so it was a good thing we exiled the Emperor, because now it's harder to get those diplomats out of there. Let me place the marker there. You see it here now, it's harder. Go to the next event, Black Churches, and we earn 1 Maria Teresa dollar. Now we have 3. Black shirts. You may place the black shirts tile on any Italian or Army of Italy army. Army of Italy armies are those, once Addis falls, we substitute the green armies for Army of Italy armies, which have a blue background. If you attack that army and don't like the roll, the die roll attacking that army, roll a second die to replace the first. After the roll, or if no roll is made, return the black shirt to the counter tray. This roll never affects a plane. Okay. So it gives us an extra roll against the black shirts, and what this emphasizes is in the poor quality of the black shirts. They were elite in name only, not like other elite forces. They received a lot of equipment, but they were really pretty bad quality. So we got the black shirts here. Let's place it on an army. Let me see one thing again here. On any Italian army, yep. Which army do we want to place it? Has to be one we can attack. I see Rocafort there, Rocafort here. They're all in Rocafort. We have only, it's going to be a pity we won't be able to use this. Unless the Red Cross pushes back the, yeah, place it there. The Red Cross has to push back the Italians. No, they can't. They can't attack either. The Red Cross cannot attack either. It doesn't really matter where I put it. Because they are all in Rocafort. I have no way of moving them. That's a pain. Yeah, the Red Cross can't attack in Rocafort. Pretty sure of that, yeah. Well, they can't. Yeah, so it's going to be a waste there anyway. Okay. So we got the Avanti phase, B and C. Oh, wait a second. I should place it in B or C. So I'm going to place it here in B. I'm going to place it in B because B is going to move. Yeah. Okay, so now we move the Italian armies B and C. So B moves into Desi with the Carro Armato. And this follows this. And C moves into the minefield. That's going to be interesting. So pity you only have $3. So we just did the Italian moves. And deploy strongest Italian plane, but there's no planes in the skies box. Deploy the strongest on flip diplomat. Is there a suitcase? Yes, there's a suitcase. So we deploy the strongest diplomat from the unused box. That is the British diplomat. Place him here. And now we go to make additional Duce moves. If he's in the balcony, yes, he's still there. And let's see if there's a Duce move. Oh, yes, there's a Duce move. Here we see a Duce move, the first one in the game. There's a B, and the B in this turn, and a B in the last turn, so B moves. Oh boy. And B moves into Addis Ababa. And I think we have a turn to push him out. Let me see how the fall of Addis Ababa works. Make sure. In some games it doesn't work like that, in others. So, fall of Addis. Oh, yeah. We're not that lucky. The moment the first Italian army enters Addis Ababa, if Haile Selassie is still in the tent, or on the calendar, the game is over and you lose. No, well, he's not in the tent. He's in exile. You should have had exiled him when you had the chance. If not, replace the Dark Empire of Ethiopia. Yeah, now we have all these effects. With the fall of Addis Ababa, we replace the Dark Empire of Ethiopia tile with the Italian East Africa tile. Not good. And that means that we can no longer do diplomatic efforts. We can no longer try to bring diplomats, get them out of Geneva. That's what that means. Any green Italian army that enters Addis Ababa is discarded at once and replaced by its corresponding army of Italy. Here we see in the counter tray, we have the army of Italy, armies, and this was the B army. So that army is now replaced here in Addis Ababa. Oh, yes, that's right. Daniel, that's a great point. I bypassed Dire Dawa, so that doesn't, all this doesn't happen. They just arrive at Desi because I moved it from here to here. See, this is a good thing about these live things. And there's still somebody watching this. Thanks, Daniel. Let's fix this. Okay, so Addis doesn't fall yet, right? So now they just move here into Desi. And we reflip this. And that's the thing about the map. It confused me. I didn't see here. This is a mountain range, which is a divider. You go here and here. So that was a great point. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, use the last rest to move the fascist ruler. He'll get killed, probably. It could happen, but, you know. Okay, so that was the additional Duce move. We completed that. Nothing else happened. So we're still, Addis Ababa is still in our hands. Now we got the Chitet. That is, we roll a die for money. And here we go. 4 minus 1 because it's higher than the unused diplomat box. We get 3. So we add 3. We got $6. We got to spend all that money and only hold 3. And now, the Takawemu time. So, I mean, the situation is pressing there against that army. The good thing, no, it's not a good thing. It is adjacent to the, see that plane over there is giving support. Yeah, it's difficult to find the track sometimes, yeah. Okay, so we don't have a choice. We have to push back these guys here. I don't think there's a more pressing need. See, if we would have had a partisan, we could use sabotage, but we don't have a partisan on that track. I don't know if we'll have enough dollars to buy a partisan there. Maybe it's worth a shot, but we have to push them back, and that's a 4. But we can use the black shirt effect for another die roll. So we're gonna have to do that. So let's spend $1 there. Yes, it's counted over a mountain range because it's adjacent. That's the thing. It is adjacent. It's adjacent, yeah. Let me double check. Adjacent, let me see here. Lands adjacent, okay, let me see here. Planes can fly air support to any adjacent Italian army. So I would have to see the definition of adjacent. Okay. Adjacent path, okay. Okay. Pretty sure I read it somewhere. Cemeteries. Because it's not really adjacent to where it is. It has to go through Amba Alagi, right? I know, I see your point. Okay. Okay, here. Red borders and yellow borders are impassable and no unit may ever cross them except planes. There you go. Yeah, it is adjacent. So, yeah, it is adjacent. So here we go. Okay, so we spend $1. I think I spent that dollar already, right? Yeah. Yeah. It is adjacent to a plane. So here we go. So that plane is going to fly. Air support here. I spent already the dollar. So now we roll a die. And with that black shirt event, we can request another die roll. So there, we roll 2 dice. Oh, the lower goes against the. Let's use an Ehrlichon here. We're going to use one of our Ehrlichon points. You see it over there. It's a 3 we have. So we're going to reduce it by 1. We have 2, and to signify that I'm using our Ehrlichon, what the Ehrlichon means is if the higher result is higher than that 4 for the plane, it destroys the plane. So that may help out in future attacks because things are getting really scary there. So we roll 2 dice here. Here we go. Well, the intention was good, right? So it's a 2 and a 4. Okay. I didn't like the die roll affecting the army. It's the die roll affecting the army that we can roll. We can't roll the die roll affecting the plane. So we can re-roll the die roll affecting the army. That is weird because I don't like the die roll affecting the army. It says 2, so I roll 1 die, and now, of course, I don't have the restriction. I still get the 2, so it was a failure anyway, even with the Ehrlichon. So the plane doesn't get destroyed. It doesn't even get flipped. And we spent that money there. And if we would have succeeded, it just eliminates the carro armato. So this goes to the counter tray. The good thing is that we can make another attack there. Because there's no limit on the number of attacks, just the money. So I guess here comes. We got 4 left. We're gonna roll 2 dice again. See if we can at least get that plane out of there. This time, 5 and a 6. See, that's more like it. No, the Ehrlichon, you don't, oh yeah, no, the Ehrlichon, yeah, I subtracted the wrong. Okay, this is a 6 and a 5. I'll fix that. Thanks. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, okay, so I'll fix that. The 5 goes against the army. That means it pushes the army back. So it goes to Amba Alagi. And the 4 and the 6 defeats the plane, so it flips the plane back. If we were to use an Ehrlichon, it would destroy the plane. So what happens is the plane returns to base and it is flipped. There you go. No. The army doesn't go back. The carro armato is taken out. That's what happens. Because the carro armato absorbs the blow there. There you go. Yep. So I removed the tank. And now let's fix the board before we make another attack on the army, because the army hasn't been pushed back. We can keep on attacking. So the scoreboard should be +1 here, -1 here. So now it is correct. So now we got $4 left. Let's spend, we have 3 diplomats in the unused box. Let's spend another $1 for another attack there against the army. This time, there is no modifier. So, not bad. So let's roll the die. Roll 1d6 and a 1. So that's a fail. We want to build a partisan. We can't build a partisan in track B because that's a 4. At least in track A, we could build a partisan. Boy, but that army, adjacent to Addis. Do we give it another shot? We should. I don't like it adjacent to Addis. It means we won't be able to build a partisan in track A. So we might as well go for it. So here we go again. 2 Maria Teresa dollars left. And we're going to attack again. We need a 5 or a 6. Come on. There you go. So now it goes back to Amba Alagi and it is flipped. Okay, it's better than losing the capitalist turn, I suppose. We got $2 left. Let's see, there's a spying sabotage against fascist rule. There is the sabotage, actually, the way it works. For example, if we want to do a sabotage in Gorahe, we take this partisan, place it on the turn track 2 turns ahead, and that eliminates the plane here. But that army is pretty far away. I would like to do it over here. But we don't want that army advancing too leisurely also, so let's use the Arbignok, the partisans. The other alternative is to use the partisan to move the fascist rule back. It's the only place we have partisans are here. So we're going to use this, we're going to conduct the spying sabotage. So this partisan unit is removed and it is placed 2 turns ahead. It'll return turn 11. And it returns to the tent where we have to pay the cost to build it again. And what we will do is we will destroy the plane there. So the plane is destroyed. And what that means is that the plane goes here. The sky's above here. That's what it means. So we did an Arbignok sabotage mission there. We got 2 left. Can't attack A. Can't attack B. That's going to be it. Oh, we got Dagobur. We can attack Dagobur. Yes, that's a good attack. Because we got a +1 there because of the minefield. Okay. Let's use that point because we don't want that army advancing there. So, and we would lose the minefield if they occupy that. So let's burn that point. We got $1 left here. And the plane flies there. So the plane will provide cover. So we roll 2 dice, but we have a +1. And the Italian army there gets a +1. Okay, the plane doesn't. Okay, so here we go. We roll 2 dice. Low roll goes against... Okay, the Italian army doesn't... It's not pushed back. The plane gets... No, it doesn't. It's not pushed back either. Italian army result is a 2. So that's a fail. We have $1 left. We can try it again. Let's do it. Let's lose. Spent everything. So here we go. For Dagobur, here we go. Come on. 3 and a 4. The army is a 4 because of the minefield, so the army is pushed back to Gerlubi. And the plane is also defeated, so it just returns to the base flipped. So Dagobur is saved for 1 more turn. So I guess that was worth it. So we don't have any more money. So that's the end of that phase. Build Arbanyak, we don't have any money. Banking, we don't have any money. Disband, cancel military event. Military event was here, canceled. Move Red Cross, yes. The Red Cross. Let's move it here to Desi. And what else? Advanced fascist rule. Maybe the flipping of fascist rule means it can't advance. I have to find out, but that fascist rule is not flipped. So we advance fascist rule here. And there's no fascist rule to advance here. Unflipment. So we unflip the Libyan corps and the plane there. We unflip the strongest Italian army, which is at Amba, Alaghi. And there's a Rocafort there. Okay, and that's the end of the turn, turn 9. And this is taken, boy, these microphones are good. I still have battery here. So we've been 3 hours, man. And I don't know how many people are watching, but thanks to everybody who is watching. It's my first time playing the full game. And I guess you can get a lot from the game, from how it works and how it compares to other Ben Madison designs. I like the game a lot. I'm going to find out what does inverting the fascist rule marker actually entail. So I will be back tomorrow. I don't know if it will be turns 9 through 18 because this takes, maybe I'll do 6 turns tomorrow. 10 to 15. Maybe I lose the game before the ways are going. So tomorrow will probably be turns 10 to 14. No, 10 to do 6 turns tomorrow. So that's it for now. And I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be starting at 9 after, I think Compass is tomorrow. So I'm just going to start after Compass ends. So sometimes it ends at 9, sometimes it's 9:15-ish. So it'll be tomorrow. So I want to thank each and every one of you who stuck around. And I want to thank Bruce, Brian, everybody who chipped in and gave me the New York Raider fan. You like the music? The music helps, especially in those times when there's no narration, when I'm looking up in the rules and stuff. And Daniel gave me save the game there. I bypassed Alam Alagi. So I hope there's no one from Alam Alagi watching the playthrough because I bypassed their town. Well, thanks. Thanks to everybody. I'll see you tomorrow after 9, after the Compasses show. So this is Stuka Joe signing off now. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's see if the button wants to work. It doesn't. Okay, let me get it here.